7:39, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Congressman Scott DesJarlais joins us on the Newsmaker Hotline. Congressman, always great to have you on, and I love what you've done. I don't know if this was yesterday or in the last couple of days, but what you're doing is you're asking ICE and all the folks in charge of immigration, you want answers for the lack of data of illegal migrant juveniles committing crimes in this country, and that there is no vetting process for juvenile border crossers. Now, the reason why this is so important, especially right now with, 32 days or so until November 5th, the reason why this is so important is because this is one of many issues that really do personify a lack of coherent border policy or immigration policy of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we just sent a letter yesterday to the deputy director of ICE, Patrick Leichner, and asking him those questions because the Biden-Harris border policy seems to just be an open door policy. No real vetting. We've got 670,000 known criminals roaming the country right now, and there's probably more than that. We have known terrorists, and it's interesting that right here in Tennessee, a store there in Gallatin was broken into several times by these juvenile illegal immigrants stealing guns, and this is going on all around the country. You don't have to look far. You can just look in almost any state, and somebody's complaining about these young men who Obama used to refer to as dreamers under the Harris administration. I think dreamers may be equivalent to gang members, but it's Jeff Landry, a representative I served with in Congress, who's now governor of Louisiana. Sees a huge problem with young illegal immigrants being recruited into organized crime, and it just kind of makes sense because we used to have a legal immigration system where we vetted people. There were so many people that were allowed into the country, upwards to 1 million every year legally. That's all been thrown out the window. I don't even know why we bother with any kind of legal immigration system anymore. It's been totally, turned upside down when you have upward to 20 million people enter the country in 4 years. I don't know how you put that toothpaste back in the tube and how you fix that problem. I mean, first thing would be mass deportations of these criminals. How hard would it be? Right. Of course, they're the hardest to catch because they're in hiding. But, yeah, so anyways, back to your point, we're trying to keep the pressure on. And right now there's no vetting process whatsoever. If you're a minor, you come here, they don't ask if you've been affiliated with a gang. They don't ask whether you have a criminal record. You're just released into the country. And so we were getting calls and we were seeing articles. And so we penned this letter to try to keep the heat on the Biden administration. However, is it the Harris administration? I don't really know who's president now.
Well,
but, we want to get some answers.
Yeah. Well, you remember this moment during the debate where J.D. Vance was trying to talk about a lack of this coherent policy, and he was talking about the app that the illegal aliens or the migrants, whatever you want to call them, use to come into our country. This is how the Biden administration justifies allowing these people in, and how this is how they will say, well, these aren't illegal aliens, they're legal.
So there's an application called the CBP One app where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by our own leadership.
Thank you, Senator, for describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP One app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut.
Here's the deal, Congressman Scott DesJarlais. I think the audience heard what J.D. Vance was saying loud and clear, and he is absolutely right about how these people are coming in. They're being called legal, but they're really not.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It baffles me how the media can just sweep the border crisis under the rug for the convenience of the upcoming election, for fear of Donald Trump coming back in and actually securing our border. All these folks are being impacted by it. This crime is everywhere across the country. So this moderator could have her home broken into, and would she change her tune? They are so lockstep with the Democratic Party and the Liberal Party. When I say they, I'm talking about the liberal media, which is about 90% of our country, whether it's social media or whether it's radio, except for stations like yours. We're just in the vast minority, and they basically spread these falsehoods, or they cover up what we know are real problems, and they're just doing it in the name of keeping their puppet in power in the White House. We just dealt with the puppet administration, and they're trying to create another one. How do you go for 78 days as the nominee? First of all, why is Kamala Harris even the nominee? I don't understand how that process actually took place. I see if Biden died in office, if Biden resigned, then you pick yourself a new nominee. But if Biden can't run a political campaign, how in the heck can he be running the country? And I know this is off topic, but here's a media that's protecting Kamala Harris. We have J.D. Vance making a great point on the border, and they cut him off. And I hope the American people are smart enough to see what's going on here, because we all see it, we all feel it. There was a new terrorist threat report just released this week by DHS and Christopher Wray. There's terrorists amongst us where, the financial strain that the illegals are causing in this country is immeasurable. They say it's up to $80,000 per immigrant per year. We're already so far in debt we can't see straight, and then we're continuing to compound this problem.
I want to play this audio bite, and to me it is an example of, I'm going to stay with illegal immigration for a second, but as part of a bigger point. This is Alejandro Mayorkas. This is two examples of Mayorkas where he's talking about, number one, they're going to be a big part of bringing these illegal aliens into our country and spending millions of dollars to help these folks. But on the other hand, they don't have any money to help people get through the floods and the hurricanes for the rest of the year.
FEMA is going to be playing a pivotal role in our shelter and services program that is poised to distribute $363 million to cities and communities in need of funding. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
I mean, I don't know, man. I hate to sound like a broken record, but we're spending how much money, not only, of course, on illegal aliens, but also on Ukraine, and we don't have enough money to help people at home.
Yeah, it's baffling. You understand the frustration when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, whether it's Israel, whether it's Indo-Pacific issues that are going on there. You got to look at it like Trump does and put America first. Let's solve our own problems, and then we can help other countries. We're not going to be in a position to help other countries much longer if we don't take care of our own borders, if we don't take care of our own people. They keep borrowing and spending money we don't have on issues that are important, but not as important as what's going on here at home. I hear oil prices are set to go up 10% every week because of what's going on in the Middle East. I can't believe it hasn't already started to happen. But, we could be at $4 gas before the election. The war in the Middle East is heating up there. We definitely could be in a direct conflict with Iran. And I'm glad that Israel's going after these terrorist organizations, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, or Houthis. These are all Iran-sponsored terrorists. We all know that. They are our enemy. They're able to pay for these because Biden gave them $6 billion back and is allowing them to sell oil. We've got the Russia-Ukraine thing going on. We got China watching the weak leadership in this country. And then you've got a new administration, I guess you call it a new administration with Harris, that won't answer questions, has not done interviews. She's got a vice president who won't answer questions. They'll make statements, but they won't be held accountable, and the media doesn't do that. They didn't do it in the debates, and they continue not to do that. This should be the easiest election we've ever had. All you have to do is look at where we were under the Trump economy, the Trump energy policies, the Trump border, the DOJ, whatever you want to look at. Where were we 4 years ago, and where are we now? And if you can see through the smoke screen that the media has put up,
yep.
It should be an absolute no-brainer. Whether you like Trump or don't like Trump, Harris is a puppet. I'm not saying she is a stupid woman. I'm just saying that she will not explain her policies, and her record is horrendous. It's that of a socialist, and that was well established when she couldn't get off the ground in 2020.
Well, J.D. Vance, he mentioned yesterday, I don't have the audio handy, but one of the things that J.D. Vance said yesterday was he felt sorry for Tim Walz during that debate in retrospect, because he is being asked to defend the indefensible. And that's something that we've been saying for a long time. How do you possibly defend Kamala Harris and the policies that she has been involved with for not only the past 4 years, but man, you can go all the way back to her time as the DA of San Francisco, the Attorney General of California as well. And when she was a senator, and she was named one of the most liberal senators in the Senate. And so everywhere you go, and I saw a story today. Thank you, Congressman Scott DesJarlais. Appreciate it. I saw a story today where the squad, right? The ever shrinking squad, by the way, but the squad was actually now trying to get Kamala Harris to go further left, because they think that right now, whatever Harris is doing is not working. And I read that this morning, and I'm like, oh, please. Yes, Kamala Harris, go further left. Go ahead. Make our day.